ladies and gentlemen, I am Screen Scene Guru. Tonight I'm coming at you with a television and movie news update. We did have some tragic news recently with Robreiner's passing. I'm going to cover that a bit in the newsletter. But first off, I do want to do some TV picks for television I've been watching. I do want to support all the people that have been watching the channel this year. Hopefully you guys stay on board into 2026. Going into some of the shows, we've got whipwerckhunters Australia, which is a series on Disney Plus and Hulu. Really awesome show. It made a lot of cool discoveries. This show started in 2022, so I'll be going over the first 2 seasons of reviews. Then I'll jump into some ghost adventures, and then of course some Hollywood news updates. So starting off, we've got Deep Sea Discovery. This real quick. So yeah, we've got off the northwest coast of Australia, whipwerckhunters make a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Like I said, you guys can watch this on Disney Plus. Episode 2, Search for the Cabana. Whipwerckhunters search for the cabana, which was lost off the northwest coast of Australia. A lot of these are historical, going over the very treacherous terrain. Flying boats of Boom. Whipwerckhunters search for 5 flying boats that were destroyed and sunk during World War II. So that's really cool. One of their top rated episodes, number 4, Australia's oldest shipwreck. Whipwerckhunters are on a mission to help close the case of Australia's oldest shipwreck. We got episode 5, Survivors of Sefrido. Whipwerckhunters head to the largest freighter reef, on the planet in search of shipwreck puzzle. And the last episode, episode 6, season 1, we've got Zawijika. Whipwerckhunters head to Zawijika, a known shipwreck on the stunning Houndman Albros Island. So really cool stuff there. That was the first season. Going into season 2, real quick, we've got. Did they talk about season 2? It says coming August. Yeah, we've already got it. Doesn't want to go into the description for season 2, but they found a lot more ships in different locations. I don't know why IMDb is not wanting to talk about. Let's go back real quick. See if they go into. Yeah, they don't really want to go into it, but let me go out of IMDb for a minute. Maybe go just search up normal. Okay, so got pulled up. 2 seasons. Okay, season 2, let's go into there. Okay, season 2, episode 1, whipwerckhunters are on their biggest mission yet. As they battle huge swells, face storms, and a wild story, determined to discover the largest iron steamship, Rodondo. So that was episode 1. Episode 2, whipwerckhunters return to the remote and wild Albros Islands off the midwest coast of Australia, hoping to solve a mystery of what happened to the mighty Dutch ship. So really cool stuff there. Episode 3, in the Indian Ocean, the team is on the trail of a bewildering story of superstition that involves the death of a sailor on a lonely beach on Australia southwest. So that's cool. Episode 4, 2 local historians discover a rare, valuable infant Buddha statue from China's Mongdang dynasty. So yeah, proving trade and travel was happening a lot further, or a lot before we were tracking it. Episode 5, a map of new clues emerges as shipwreck hunters investigate centuries-old mystery that puzzles experts. So yeah, they're going to look for another Dutch ship from the East India Trading Company. Episode 6, magical blue waters of the world renewed. Najigo Reef our favorite spot for shipwreck hunters, but it was a nightmare for the 19th century Alcatar and the crew when the mission struck it rich. So interesting stuff there. That's the first 2 seasons of Shipwreck Hunters. I do want to go into real quick overview. Team of adventurous divers and underwater filmmakers are joined by an expert marine archaeologist on the hunt for long-lost shipwreck secrets, and the missions combine new evidence, architectural research. So yeah, really cool stuff. Good 4K, 8K in some cases with some of the cameras they're using, which is really cool. So yeah, they've only got 2 seasons out right now, but I do believe they've been renewed for a 3rd season. So they are going to get a season 3 sometime in 2026. Let me go into the robreiner situation real quick, because that recently was coming up in the news. Unfortunately, that was top story just the last couple days. Robreiner's kids now are coming out and talking about his son, Nick Reiner, that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he was supposed to be on medication for it. But apparently there was a Christmas party where I believe Rob Reiner was there with his wife, their son Nick, and Conan O'Brien. And they had an altercation at the Christmas party where Conan O'Brien almost called 911 on Nick. But apparently Rob Reiner, being a good dad, he convinced him not to. And that was maybe a mistake. He was always trying to be a good dad, trying to shelter him. He lived with him for years. Shocking, the event that happened. I don't want to go into it on YouTube because, of course, I'll be demonetized. But people that know the situation that was unfolding around his death, very shocking. And, of course, now we're going into the trial, which is going to be a whole nother debacle. But they have, the children of Rob Reiner, the siblings of Nick, coming out and talking about how such a great influence he was growing up and his work in film. Big historical legacy filmmaker in Hollywood. So it's a big loss for us cinephiles. But yeah, real quick, SNL played a tribute to him in last episode of the year with I believe it had Ariana Grande and Cher on, which was really cool. No One Like Robbie. So yeah, a lot of people are putting their tributes out for him. He was an American filmmaker. He made iconic things like Spinal Tap. I want to go on. Stand By Me is probably going to be one of his most iconic films he's going to be remembered for. Misery. We Were Soldiers. He did Wolf of Wall Street recently. I never really liked that movie, but he will be remembered for it. He did Bucket List. More iconic stuff. He did the New Girl series, which I never watched. Sleepless in Seattle. So many things. I mean, just an iconic filmmaker. He worked with Andre the Giant. He did Andre the Giant documentary, and of course, Princess Bride, which a lot of people are very familiar with and adore. He did The Enforcer with Clint Eastwood. So just a whole list of top movies. He recently did the Spinal Tap 2. But yeah, just really shocking about his passing. Let me go into Ghost Adventures real quick, because I'm not exactly sure where I left off in the channel, where I was at in reviewing it. There has been new episodes, so real quick announcement here. Going into episode 11, we've got Manor of Malice. This came out on December 10th. GAC are summoned, so the Ghost Adventures crew are summoned to Los Angeles mansion, where recent restoration efforts have awakened a sinister presence. With each step, the team risks falling prey to a dark attachment that threatens to follow them beyond the historic home's walls. So yeah, they talked about this episode. I believe Billy had an attachment after he left. Talked about how it wrecked him at home with his family life. So now it's not just Zach being affected by these things, it's the whole crew. They also talk about there was dolls that I believe in the last house, Doll of Fire, that they talked about. I believe I covered that in a video from a few weeks ago. But real quick, it was a top-rated episode. The team helps a family that has been driven from their home by a malicious entity that misforms them. Their misfortune begins when they took in a doll from a hoarder's home. So yeah, I believe I covered this episode already, but interesting that all went down. And then this latest episode, the Ghost Adventures crew roll into a wild western town to confront a posse of violent spirits. This was condemned in Kalido, so that's very interesting. Tormenting the living, many deaths. This distant outpost, lawless past, has infused the very rocks of the dark, powerful energy that cannot be contained. So yeah, they talk about a girl that fell down a ravine at one of the schools here, and her spirit still heard, apparently warning people about going towards the ledge. They did capture voices in the tunnels. And another really interesting thing about this episode, they talked about mines out in Calio, California, I believe, out west. Yeah, I believe it's in LA somewhere. Fact check me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat. But Calio, it's spelled Calico. That there was tunnels and mines out there from before the indigenous people, before first man. I thought that was really fascinating. And it seems like the Ghost Adventures crew is trying to make a connection in the paranormal realm to these other entities, which is really good stuff, I think. So now that I've done my TV wrap-up, I do want to talk about notes real quick, because I got a few movie notes to catch up on real quick, guys. Let's see. Talking about James Cameron Avatar installment. Of course, the third movie is out, and it's doing pretty well in the theaters right now. Of course, he was rumored that Terminator 7, we weren't sure if Arnold would be back because of his speculation of return in Predator franchise. Sounds like James Cameron wants a whole new cast, young people, to play his role that he has set up for him, which is interesting. It sounds a lot like Terminator Genesis, and not a lot of people like that one, but we'll have to see what's going on with the story. There's a big story that broke last couple days that the Oscars are moving to YouTube, but it doesn't take effect until 2029, so a few years from now, and it'll only last until 2033. So it's crazy that we're already plotting these things out, but ABC, the network, isn't making the same generative views that it used to be, so these things are moving to YouTube, which is Pretty cool. Talking about how there's a new Spider-Man trailer that's supposed to come out in Christmas. Spider-Man 4, Brand New Day. It's going to be in the Anaconda movie. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's already leaked on the internet along with the Doomsday clips. I've tried to stay away from them. But we are talking about how Stephen King and Andy Muschietti did announce a It slate for HBO. They said that they're going to do chapters for Welcome to Derry Season 2 and 3 if it is hopefully renewed from the studio, Warner Brothers. Given that it's going to Netflix in a few years, that deal still needs to go through. But looking at the slate, they want to do 2 more seasons of Welcome to Derry, and then eventually a Chapter 3 It film by 2029 as well. So they're really playing out this It franchise, hoping it does well if the studio is still profitable. So going on there, we've got Gilgerard passed away. Captain William Buck Rogers from 1997 to 1981. This was a really shock to the sci-fi community. You know, people that watched the Buck Rogers 25th Century TV show, and then the TV movie, which I have the Blu-ray of. So it's sad to hear his passing. Max was secretly having presentations about franchises, where to go forward, similar like we heard about the teasers that just came out about the 2026 slate. Well, apparently they had a much deeper presentation for Warner Brothers shareholders at WB that not a lot of the public got to see. So that's going on. Talking about how Paramount was kind of left out of the buying deal. You know, they showed off like they had a plan, and then Netflix came in with a bigger bid, and it took a long time for Paramount to come in and say, oh, we've got more money. But by then, it sounded like their deal with Netflix had already taken place. So that's very interesting stuff. Going on from there, you've got Tom Cruise' new movie, The Digger, released its first trailer, which I'm kind of wondering what it's going to be about now that he's gotten his Oscar. Is he going to do a sing and dance film, or is he going to do some kind of big critic piece? I'm not sure. Paul King was recently outed to be directing a Labubu movie, and he did the Paddington film, so I'm hoping this does very well for them. Steven Spielberg turned 79, and his new movie trailer, Disclosure Day, is out. So happy birthday, Spielberg. I'm sure a lot of people are watching your movies right now, getting anticipated for the new one. Ice Spice was seen at the New York premiere for the new SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants, which is pretty cool. Her outfit was kind of revealing, but she worked with it, you know. Let's see. Gaston live action film is being rumored. So the Belle villain from Beauty and the Beast, Gaston, is supposed to be an LGBT character. We're supposed to be getting a live action project from him, but we'll see if that comes into fruition, given the studio is kind of up in the air about whether they want to do it or not. Star Wars Starfighter, they said it's finished filming. It's wrapped. It's now in post-production. So that's really cool. I got some more Star Wars updates later on the channel. But yeah, some people are, I guess, going after Vin Diesel, you know, for claiming he wants to do a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie for, I believe, Mattel. Yeah, Mattel will be doing it. But people are asking why. You know, I think it's a good project. I think it's different. But they're asking him to do something like Riddick, which I do believe he has another movie coming out. We're just not sure about the release date. And then there's a rumor that Brandonsklenar might play our new Batman in the DC universe because David Cornsweet recently started following him on Instagram. So that's happening. Then we've got speculation has grown from those who had a chance to see the Doomsday clip that whose baby is it in Steve Rogers' arms. We're all speculating that Doom will be going after these kids, superpowered kids, to change reality or to change the events of their time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Chrome Alone 2 short clip was released for the holiday special, and it looks pretty good. Seth Rogen's animation team that did Sausage Party is coming back to work on another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle project. I wish they had greenlit from Paramount to do another film, but unfortunately this is going to be the last thing we see from their team. We did hear that the new Paramount team, the Ellisons, do want to do stuff in the TMNT universe, but they don't want to include Seth Rogen. Apparently they want to move on to other people, which I wonder if they'll bring back Michael Bay or they'll do something else. There is rumor that Michael Bay is coming back to do another Transformers film, so that's going on. And there is the iconic series that there's supposed to be G.I. Joe teaming up with the Transformers as well. That's supposed to be going forward, because I saw the Hasbro toy line at Target is being sold, which I wasn't a big fan of when Star Wars mixed with Bionicles back 20 years ago, and I didn't like seeing Cobra and Decepticons, but it's something new, so that's something. They also talked about Spider-Man 4 wrapped filming, and that's why we're going to be getting a trailer soon. There's a rumor that Tom Holland's Spider-Man will evolve. There will be a cocoon sequence where he's supposed to have organic webbing. Supposed to maybe turn him into Man-Spider, and he might need help from other heroes, hinting at X-Men to help him. If you guys watched the cartoon or read the comics, you know Beast from the X-Men ends up having to make a cure for him when the mutagens in his body just overproduce and he becomes Man-Spider. Talk about Three-Eye Atlas real quick. We got a UAP update. We know December 19th came and went. Nothing of big significance happened, unfortunately, for all of us speculating this was a craft, coming to make first contact. It didn't do much. We did see, though, from the Rubin Observatory in Chile, it has a massive camera, 3.62 gigahertz, so that's 1,000 times stronger than your camera on your phone. And it's pointed now in the southeast direction of the sky, and it's tracking orbital objects in space coming towards Earth. It would be nice if we had a North American satellite this strong pointed out to deep space, but right now it's just pointed towards southeast. But really cool stuff there. It did cost $1 billion from the Department of Energy, so our government paid for it to be built in Chile and ran and overviewed by the Chileans, so really big support over there to them. I do love that Stephanie Valkyr, the princess of Chile, she's got the devil's kiss. I think it's like the best move ever. Now, let's see, comparing the speed of the craft through Atlas, we do have craft launched from NASA headed to Jupiter. Now its trajectory is to Jupiter. And these craft that we launched, a year or two ago, they're still on their way. They won't get to Jupiter until 2030, 2031. And 3i Atlas will be at Jupiter in March of 2026. So it's traveling much faster than our typical rockets that we still use today. Larseidinger has been cast in James Gunn's Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow, as Brainiac. So some breaking news there that just came out randomly on the weekend on Threads, direct from James Gunn. But we've also got Nijai 2 has come out on streaming on HBO Max. So a lot of people are, I'm sure, watching that. I'm still trying to get through the Netflix series before I try to go on to Nijai 1 or 2. A new Wolverine copyright deal was just pushed through over at Marvel, which is bringing a lot of people to speculate there's going to be a new Marvel Wolverine movie. Not just a game coming out from Sony, which we're all anticipating very much, but this licensing contract renewalment. It's basically a copyright deal that makes sure that they have the rights to Wolverine for, I think it's 10 or 12 more years, because the deal was about to run out. It's about to expire, and of course Marvel doesn't want to run out of their legacy IP characters. So it's sounding like Hugh Jackman will get his own film soon, because of this IP contract renewal, this copyright infringement renewal. Going on, Bowen Yang says goodbye in his SNL tribute. Emotional, he was crying. Andrew Tate and Logan Paul both lost big time. Unfortunately, Andrew Tate's been accused of being a creep for a long time. But Jake Paul got his jaw broken in that match on Netflix, so I thought that was a little bit drastic. And when, Logan Paul said that, I made a contract with Andrew or whoever, with the winner, that he couldn't use his full force. Obviously he did, because he broke his brother's jaw. But there's a new Dave Chappelle special now, as controversial as he is. There is one on Netflix, which is supposed to be pretty good. I'm hearing good things about it. Anthony Joshua delivered a knockout to Jake Paul, but of course he broke his jaw. Like, come on, he was like, Bullet Train 2 got recently announced, guys. Did anyone hear about this? It's breaking on the channel. Bullet Train 2 with Brad Pitt returning. This is probably due to the success of F1. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's awesome. First day of winter, and San Francisco goes dark. I used to live in San Francisco as a child with my mother and brother and sister. They were much older than me, so they remember it much better. They recently traveled there. Shocking to hear the power grid failed due to probably overuse of stuff. It's sounding like they're going to try to get it back in the next few days, but they are going through weather there, so it does sound unfortunate that many people went without power. So shout out to all of them. Hopefully they're pushing through. I do want to give an update real quick on world news. It's kind of like Landman stuff. I'm not watching the new season yet. I need to catch up. But the current conflict with Venezuela and South America, this is the third warship, or I guess not warship, this is the third oil ship to be contained by our military in the last 10 days. We've had officially started an embargo, Venezuela and Colombia, between oil that was mined by Exxon, because we're feeling that the American investment wasn't being held up. We're now taking back that oil to bring back to the States and make sure our money is being, protected. So that's very interesting stuff going on in the world of, our convoluted universe. What do you guys think of all the news that's going on right now? I'll probably have some more clips to post about soon. I've got a new dongle to show off. I'm going to be doing clips on YouTube with, so that's pretty cool. Anatomically correct arm. So that's going to be, I'm going to use that for the channel. Real quick, I will go into some Star Wars news. Let me get my lightsaber out. I have made it all the way to chapter 20 of this Dark Force Rising, so I gotta talk about it real quick. Really awesome book. Going into the story real quick. Switch off my light. So it was interesting that we hadn't seen Mara Jade in like a minute, like since the beginning of the book, and all of a sudden she shows up, of course, because they have to bring her back into the story. And I'm a big Mara Jade fan. So it was cool to hear that, her side of the story. She was showing up after Karad, her boss, this pirate guy, was sending her off to get supplies, basically. And she ran into the Chimera, Grand Admiral Thrawn's premier flagship. And then, of course, she was taken on board. He kind of interviewed her a bit about what she wore. And then, of course, he let her go. He promised that she would have 8 days to get Karad and his crew to convince them where this pilot is, this, smuggler that knows where the Dark Fleet is. And basically she was like, oh, give me the time and I'll do it. And as soon as she lands on the planet that Karad is staying at, stormtroopers basically surround the place, nab him, get him on a starship, and she's furious. But of course, this was all part of Thrawn's plan. He wouldn't let her have the time because he didn't want anything to seem suspicious and for their team to be spooked. But right now, Thrawn has offered Mara Jade her position back at the Empire's hand. But now, of course, Thrawn is the Emperor, and she's already plotting a move to go against him. He threatened that she could be turned over to Chewbacca, the Dark Jedi, and that Luke and Leia, her twins, are already planning to be given to them. But it looks like Mara Jade is hatching a plan to work with Karad's crew and the help of Luke Skywalker. Hopefully she can get Karad out of jail before they interrogate him enough to find out where the rogue pilot is. Now, the book is very much reminding me of the script for The Last Jedi, how they had to have, Master Codebreaker, all this stuff, and then they ended up never meeting him. So it's very interesting right now. I'm probably going to finish the book in the next couple of days because it's only got, I think, let's see, last chapter is 29. So there's 9 more chapters in the book. So I'm going to finish it in the next few days. I'll let you guys know what I think of that. And then I'll be going on to the 3rd book, The Last Command. So wish me luck on that. Be sure to like the video, comment down below what you think on all the stuff happening. Till next time, guys. I'll see you around. Bye-bye. Alrighty.